Welcome back, folks. This is Steve with Upstart Epoxy, and in this video, we're going to show you 3 must-try products that you gotta try out whenever you're using Upstart Epoxy's art resin, deep pour, and tabletop epoxy. Not to forget the mica pigments and all the other goodies that come along with Upstart Epoxy, so stay tuned. First off, we're going to start with art resin from Upstart Epoxy. This stuff is so fluid and functional and actually fun to work with. There's so much that you can do with this art resin, folks. In this example, we did a wall hanging. We went ahead and we got a base and we spray painted it with some primer that's gonna match the base color of the art resin that we went with. And this was a blue. We got some mica pigments from Upstart Epoxy, selected the blue, and we mixed it all up. The cool thing about art projects like this, folks, if you're gonna make a wall hanging, an art piece, something flat like this, is that you can mix up as many colors as you want. You can mix and match, you can meld them together, you can hit them with the heat gun for more fluidity, more action. You can get a popsicle stick and just swirl them around and just have fun with it. You can spray alcohol on the actual piece as it's curing to get a really cool effect. Alcohol and epoxy really go well together and they make some really super cool designs. This piece right here took us about an hour and a half to complete, and that's not with the curing time, but prep time and everything else. And it came out pretty darn stunning, we thought. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. And make sure you try your own wall hanging and see what creative ideas you can come up with to make everybody happy. The second product that we recommend you guys really try would be a bar top, a small bar top, or it could also be used as a gaming console table. Whatever you guys want. It could be a library table, a sofa table, whatever. The way that you make this is you're gonna use some Upstart Epoxy's deep pour and you're gonna finish it off with the tabletop. So what we did here is we got a piece of cedar wood, we flattened it out, we taped up all the little cracks and crevices on the underside of it so that no epoxy would leak through. Then we flipped it over and we went ahead and mixed up a little bit of tabletop epoxy and a little bit of deep pour epoxy. And what we did is we filled up all the little cracks and crevices on the face of the wood. We got all those filled up with tabletop, and in the deeper areas where there was big knots that were taken out, we went ahead and used our deep pour in there. Because remember, you only want to pour up to 1/8 of an inch of tabletop epoxy. So what we did is we got our plastic Bondo spreader here and we went ahead and we made sure that all of this epoxy was seeping into these cracks. We covered them and went over them 2 or 3 times until the epoxy leveled up with the top of the crack. We let that cure for a couple of days, sanded it all up, and we hit it with some Upstart Epoxy's tabletop epoxy. And just look how cool this came out. These types of tables are really easy, folks, and they're really fun. And as you can see, the tabletop epoxy really restores life to this table and brings everything back, but bigger and better. And I guarantee you, when you're making these tables, there's a lot of little tricks and things that you'll learn on your own that you'll be able to share with other people and say, hey, I did this, I got that done. But you know what? You gotta do it with Upstart Epoxy, folks. You wipe up the sides, you take off the drips, and you make sure that the whole thing is perfectly shiny in the end, because you're making a showpiece is what you're making. And you know what? You're making something that you constructed, something that you can be proud of. And Upstart Epoxy is always here to help. So we really recommend trying one of these for your next project, folks. Just look how cool they come out. Like I said, it could be a bar top, could be a console table, sofa table, library table, whatever you want. You made it, that's what counts. Number 3 on our list is a charcuterie board. I'm sure a lot of you have gotten into this. You gotta stop procrastinating and jump right in. Charcuterie boards are kind of entry-level things, but these are what get you going. They're what get you started in the epoxy resin world. Once you master these, you'll be able to move on to tables, coffee tables, dining room tables, other stuff. So the best thing about this is that it's a learning experience, folks. Like I said, this is entry/learning level. This is what will teach you all the ropes, what you need to do step by step to make a lot of things epoxy resin. If it's a board, if it's a table, if it's a bar top, whatever. This is where you learn what you need to do. The sanding, the demolding, the molding, the routing, the shining, the polishing, the pouring the tabletop, the pouring the finish oil, whatever it is you want to do. Charcuterie boards are where you really learn it all, folks. Like this one here. We went ahead and used tabletop on one side, and on the other side, we went ahead and finished it with an oil base. That way it's a multifunctional. If you want to serve on the glossy side, you can do that. If you want to serve on the matte finish side, you can do that too. And see, it's those little things that you learn along the way that really help you to fine-tune your skills and hone in on your abilities when you guys are creating your own awesome inventions and creations with epoxy resin. And Upstart Epoxy is here to help, folks. If you like this video, be sure and subscribe. If you haven't already, hit that little notification bell so you can see whenever we make new stuff. And we'll see you next time.